This isn't one. 3 little pigs are the victims. Down 2 houses.
But the people do.
Freeing someone alive hardly constitutes.
Somebody's got to break the law and
Yeah, protect yourself in your own home.
a man's home is his castle. Put it back.
Someone tried to blow my house down. I'll do the same.
I knew the wolf. There's no way he could have blown down those houses. He had asthma.
The wolf had asthma. So what's the truth about the pigs' houses being blown down? Inside job.
There's no reason why those 2 houses, one made from straw, the other from wood, should have collapsed. Not even a healthy wolf's huff and puff could bring them down.
The breed of pigs have confessed to conspiring to commit insurance fraud, framing the wolf in an attempt to cover their tracks. Their motive was financial, as they struggled to keep up with their mortgage repayments.
I'm behind on my payments too, but
How could this have happened?
I lost everything.
¿Quiere preguntarle algo?
system in order to avoid communists from taking over. For example, in Europe, in 47, 48, 49, the Greeks and the Italians,
we don't do that now, though. We don't mess around other people's elections.
Only for a very good cause.
Can you do that? Do a Vine video on a former CIA director.
Only for a very good cause in the interest of Vine.
All right, thanks for being here. Always great to see.
Jen, what options do you have left for Mr Assange for him to be prevented from being extradited?
Of course, the Home Secretary's order on Friday brings extradition to the United States one step closer, but we still have a number of outstanding appeals. We have 14 days to appeal to the High Court, and we will be enlivening our cross-appeal from the earlier decision of the District Court. And if necessary, we'll be going to the European Court of Human Rights. So there's still a long way to go in terms of our appeals here in the United Kingdom, potentially all the way to the Supreme Court. And like I said, if necessary, we will go to the European Court of Human Rights.
Jen, there are reports that the Australian government is speaking to US officials via back channels. Have you been made aware of these conversations?
Look, we have continued to call upon the Australian government, previous Australian governments and now the Albanese government, to do the right thing for this Australian citizen and for free speech, and to make the call to President Biden to have this case put to rest. We know that the Obama administration chose not to prosecute because of the free speech concerns that arise in this case and what it will mean for all journalists in the US and elsewhere. We know that it was a political decision by President Trump to start this prosecution, treating the media as he does, as the enemy of the people. And so one would hope that President Biden would return to the Obama administration position. And it's for the Australian government to exercise diplomatic protection over Julian as an Australian citizen and to make those calls. Now, we have had a statement from the government on Friday saying that this has gone on too long and should be brought to an end, and we agree. So we hope that they're taking steps now that they're in government, the Labor Party is now in government, that they'll take the right steps to help us bring him home.
Jen, is it possible that by stringing this out through the courts in the UK that you may actually be delaying the resolution of this? Could it be that if he gets to the United States, there's more leeway for the executive branch of government, Biden, to grant him clemency than what exists in the UK?
Hamish, why would we want to send an Australian citizen to such oppressive prison conditions for any reason? Any time that he serves in this country while we exhaust avenues of appeal to prevent that from happening will count to any potential sentence if he is extradited to the United States. So our first and foremost concern is and has always been to prevent him from being subjected to those oppressive conditions in the first place. He is a publisher, he is a journalist, he is a member of the Australian Media Union. He should not be in prison at all.
I get that, but you have always argued that there's a political dimension to this whole case, right? So my question really goes to the relationship between Anthony Albanese and the US president versus with the UK. And I'm just wondering whether there's actually an opportunity there with the United States for Australia to negotiate his release that may not exist or may not be quite so simple while ever he's in the UK.
This case is and has always been political. The diplomatic ask that can be made of the United States can be made right now. They don't need to wait until he's in prison in the United States, and they ought to be asked. That's our position.
And have you noticed a difference in terms of the diplomatic representations since the change of government here in Australia? I know you were very disappointed, frustrated with the former government's role in this. Is it any different now?
Look, I'm cautiously optimistic about the public statements that are being made by the Prime Minister himself, by our Foreign Minister, Senator Wong, and on Friday by Mark Dreyfus, our Attorney General. The position is, from the Labor Party at least, as stated, is that this has gone on too long, enough is enough, and it's time for him to be brought home. And we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Jennifer Robinson, your time is precious, and we thank you for it.
You're very welcome.
John Bolton, a former U.S. diplomat and one-time national security advisor to former President Donald Trump, on Tuesday told CNN he'd helped plan attempted coups in foreign countries. Bolton made the remarks in response to accusations that Trump pushed a multi-pronged effort to overturn the results of the 2020 U.S. election in a last-ditch and potentially illegal bid to remain in power. Asked about this allegation, the former Trump advisor suggested on Tuesday the 45th president was simply not competent enough to execute a, quote, carefully planned coup d'etat, adding, quote, as somebody who has helped plan coups d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. Bolton served as Trump's national security advisor in 2019 when Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido called on that country's military to oust President Nicolas Maduro, claiming a recent election was illegitimate. Bolton supported Guaido.
I can tell you there's a lot going on beneath the surface. The opposition is in constant contact with large numbers of admirals and other supporters within the Maduro administration.
But Venezuela's military stuck with Maduro, who remained in power. Pressed on Tuesday by CNN anchor Jake Tapper to elaborate, Bolton said he would not get into specifics and did not mention Venezuela, but said, quote, it turned out not to be successful. Many foreign policy experts have, over the years, criticized Washington's history of interventions in foreign countries, but it is highly unusual for U.S. officials to openly acknowledge their role in stoking unrest in foreign countries.